So long division, let's do right here. Now again, guys, we're lucky because it says 3, 2, 1, and 0. If it doesn't do that, you're going to put zeros in there for placeholders, okay? Otherwise, you're going to get mixed up here. All right, x times what gives me 6x cubed? 6 x squared, good, 6x squared. So 6x cubed minus 18x squared. Remember, I'm subtracting, okay? So it's negative 19x squared minus a negative 18x squared, which is going to give me a negative x squared, okay? Bring down the next term. X times what gives me a negative x squared?
Negative x.
Negative x. You can put minus x or you can put plus a negative x, either way. So that's going to give me a negative x squared plus 3x. I'm going to subtract, okay? And when I subtract, I'm going to get a negative 2x. I'm going to bring down this last term. And I'm going to go, what times x gives me negative 2x?
Negative 2.
Negative 2, okay? So, and I have a 0 remainder. That's my answer. Come over here, synthetic division, okay? What goes in my little half box out here?
The 3.
The 3. Now, please understand, no, it's not negative, it's
Okay.
positive, okay? Because, and that's what we were just about to talk about, okay? It's got to be in that form. And what's going in that half box is that r. So the r is actually 3. What if it said x plus 3? What would go in that box?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. Okay? If that said x plus 3, that's the same as saying x minus a negative 3. Isn't it? And the negative 3 then would be my r. So technically, it's really the opposite sign of what you have. If this is plus, then I'm going to have a negative down here. If this is minus, I'm going to have a positive down here. Okay? Now, understand it doesn't work right when I have a number in front of my x. That's a whole different ball game. If we have time, we'll do one of those. Okay? So, then I do all my coefficients. Okay? And again, I have them right in order. 3, 2, 1, 0. So I don't have to put a 0 in there. If I'm missing one, I've got to put a 0 in that spot.
So if that 3 was a 4, you'd put 6.
If
and 4,
yes, I would
0.
have 6, 0, negative 19. Yes. Okay, so I have 6, negative 19, 1, and 6, right? First one comes straight down. Then I multiply and place. 6 times 3 is 18. I add, I get a negative 1. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. I add, get a negative 2. 3 times negative 6, or 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. I add and get a 0 as a remainder. Then I take these numbers, and remember, depressed polynomial. I started with a 3, so what am I going to start with down here?
A 2.
A 2. So it's 6x squared minus x minus 2. Same thing I got there. I think this is easier. Okay, it's different because you've never heard of it before. But as far as technique goes, I think this is easier. And you might too after a period of time. Okay, what time is it?
I'm trying to make like an M shape.
Yes, it does kind of. It does, but it's a great, cool little technique that you can use. All right. We're going to do one where we have to do a placeholder. Y'all are pretty good with a long division, right? Okay, I mean, that's not unusual. So we're going to spend a couple minutes right here on synthetic division. Okay. Let's say I have this. Negative 5. This is a big one. Oh, wait a minute. I want one that leaves something out. Okay, let's say I have this one. Okay, first tell me what's gonna go in my half a box.
-1.
-1, okay, because I got an X, so I'm still good there, but I have a -1 in my half a box. Then I do my coefficients. I have a 1, I have a -2, but notice I don't have any x squareds. So I'm gonna put a 0 for my x squared, then I have a 1, then I have a -1. Okay, you with me? Bring the first number down, multiply, and then add. Multiply, and then add. Multiply, and then add. Multiply, and then add. So that's a 2, so I'm going to get a 1 right there. So this one has a remainder, okay? Does that make sense? All right, if I didn't mess up on my math, y'all make sure that my math is good. I think it's good. Okay. So, depressed polynomial, what do I start with?
3.
3. So I have an x to the third, because I have an understood 1 there, plus -3x squared, plus 3x, plus -2, and then the last number, that 1 goes over top of my x plus 1, because that's my divisor. That right there is my answer. Okay? That means if I took this number and I multiplied it by this, I would get that. Okay, thinking about division. All right, let's do one real quick that is not set up right for synthetic division, but yet they tell me I have to use synthetic division on it. All right, I have a problem. Okay, now this one, if I could choose, I would do long division on it because it's way easier. My problem is I have a number in front of the x besides 1. I got to get rid of that. And the way that I get rid of that is I divide everything I have by that number. Okay, so this becomes 2x to the 4th minus 5 over 2x squared plus 1 plus 2 over x minus 1/2. Okay, I've divided every single term by my 2. Now, oh great, now it's set up perfect, but what's in my little half box? A fraction. Okay, so I've got this fraction here, and now I'm going to put my coefficients. 2, oh, I don't have a 3, so I've got to put a 0 there as a placeholder. -5 over 2. I think that was supposed to be a 1. It was. Okay. 1 and 2. Okay, you with me? All right. So, same thing. Bring the 2 straight down. Multiply. That's going to give me a 1. That gives me a 1, which gives me 1/2 there. So I get -4 over 2, which is -2. Multiply. That's going to give me a -1, isn't it? Okay, you still following me? Okay, 0. Multiply here, it's going to give me a 0, and it's going to give me a 2. Okay, now that presents another problem. So, I'm good at this point. I've got 2x to the 3rd plus x squared minus 2x. I really don't have a number. I can put plus 0 if I want. But then I have 2 over, now don't forget, it's 2 over x minus 1/2, okay? Another problem. I can't have a fraction within a fraction. How am I going to get rid of that? I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom on that term right there by 2. So what that becomes is 4 over 2x minus 1. Okay, you with me? I had to turn around and get rid of that fraction. So this right here is my answer. Not necessarily the most fun, okay, but it's doable. So if they told you you had to do synthetic division on it, that's what you would have to do, okay? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give you your homework assignment.
If
Okay.
you don't have a number with a zero exponent, do you put a zero in there to fill that
Right
spot?
here,
Uh-huh.
I
Or
would
if
just
you're
leave
doing
it
it
at.
when you're doing the division, do you put a zero to
Yes,
fill
you
in the
do,
last number?
yes, you do. Not necessarily, I mean, you mean in the answer?
No, when you're doing.
When I'm doing it, yes, I would put a zero,
So if you
okay?
have, if you don't have a
This is like
number
a placeholder.
that ends with an x to the 1, you have to add a zero
Right,
at the end.
right, yep, absolutely, that was a good question. All right, here's your homework. Paige, now, pay attention to what it's telling you, because you've got several things going on in this homework. You have some monomials, which we started with, which you just reduced. You also, in the top part, have some division problems that they don't tell you how, they just say simplify it. Okay, you could do it by factoring it, you could do it by long division, and then the second part they tell you you have to use synthetic division for. So the first part you basically can choose, the second part you have to do synthetic division. So in other words, on that first part, if you can factor it and reduce it that way, go for it. Okay, because that's definitely the easiest way to do it. You got about 4 minutes.